was a dark and stormy night, and Sarah was driving her car on a deserted highway towards the next town. She had been on the road for hours and was running low on gas. Just when she thought her car was about to die, she saw a neon sign with the words "gas station" flickering in the distance. As she pulled into the gas station, she noticed that it was an old rundown building with broken windows and boarded up doors. The inside was dimly lit, with flickering fluorescent lights and a faint smell of gasoline. The only person working was an old man with a long beard who looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. Sarah walked up to the counter, but the old man didn't say anything. He just stared at her with his bloodshot eyes. She tried to make small talk, but he didn't respond. She felt a sense of unease and decided to get her gas and leave as quickly as possible. As she was filling up her tank, she heard strange noises coming from the back of the gas station. It sounded like someone was shuffling around and knocking over boxes. Sarah thought it was just the wind, but the noises continued. She looked around, but she didn't see anyone. Suddenly, the lights flickered off, leaving her in complete darkness. Sarah panicked and ran back to her car, but it wouldn't start. She tried again and again, but the engine wouldn't turn over. She was trapped, alone in the dark with no way out. That's when she heard footsteps approaching her car. They were slow and heavy, like someone was dragging their feet. Sarah's heart raced as she tried to lock the doors, but they wouldn't budge. The footsteps grew louder and louder until they were right outside her window. Just as the hand was about to grab her, Sarah remembered the pepper spray she kept in her purse. She quickly grabbed it and sprayed the person in the face. The attacker screamed in pain and stumbled back, giving Sarah just enough time to start her car and speed away. Shaken and terrified, Sarah drove as fast as she could until she reached the safety of the next town. She immediately called the police and reported what had happened. When the police arrived at the gas station, they found the old man lying on the ground, unconscious from the pepper spray. Sarah never forgot the terror she felt that night at the gas station, but she was grateful that she had managed to escape. She learned a valuable lesson about the importance of being prepared and staying vigilant in dangerous situations. I had always enjoyed driving at night, but one particular weekend, it turned out to be the scariest experience of my life. After hanging out with my friends until the early morning hours, I decided to stop for gas at a familiar station before heading home. As I was filling up, I noticed a short man in a hood walking past me. He stopped and stared at me as I walked by, but I brushed it off and continued filling up my tank. As I got back into my car and drove down the dark, deserted road, I heard a strange noise coming from the back seat. When I looked in the rearview mirror, I saw the same hooded man sitting there, staring back at me. My heart raced as I slammed on the brakes and screamed at him to get out of my car. The man got out and started to run away down the street, but I didn't feel safe. I knew that he could be anywhere, waiting to attack me. I drove to the nearest gas station, hoping to find help, but the attendant told me that I was on my own. I drove slowly, checking my rearview mirror every few seconds. But as I turned onto a dark, empty road, I saw the man standing in the middle of the street, blocking my way. I tried to back up, but he started to approach my car, his hood pulled low over his face. I didn't know what to do. I was alone, scared and trapped. But then I felt a sense of calm wash over me. I remembered that I had a tire iron in my trunk, and I knew that I had to defend myself. I got out of my car and stood face to face with the man. He lunged at me, but I swung the tire iron with all my might, knocking him to the ground. I ran back to my car and drove away as fast as I could, not looking back. When I got home, I called the police, but they couldn't find the man. I never saw him again, but the memory of that night stayed with me for years. I learned that being alone on the road at night can be dangerous, and that I need to be prepared for anything.